and welcome to the Boys in the Bus podcast. This is your bus home. It was Celtic 1, Stuttgart 4. I'm your host, Terry. I'm joined tonight by Paul. How are you, mate?
I was absolutely fine until 94 minutes ago, yeah. Totally. I'm shattered, mate.
What?
I had a feeling the result was coming. But like we said before, there was hope.
Yeah, the last place any of us wants to be right now is sitting here talking about an absolute drubbing. But here we are, and we'll go through it. We'll be on for about half an hour, and that will do us for tonight. If you enjoy the show, give us a like, give us a share, hit that notification bell, all that jazz that just helps fill out, gets the channel out to more Celtic-minded people. And you can join as a Boys in the Bus member for $1.99. It doesn't get you anything extra, but it does just help us turn out show after show after show after abject performance after abject performance after abject performance. Anyway, Paul, we'll go through it. Try and keep a little bit of structure. I genuinely am. I'm not angry. I'm just fed up. I'm just scunnered. I've had enough. I mean, the camera panned around Celtic Park quite a few times in the last half hour tonight. You didn't see angry people. You just seen broken men, women, and children. They're just broken. They've just had enough. Every ounce of any kind of emotion has just been drained out of everyone to the point where
the last few weeks in the league and the way we've been performing against mediocre teams, nothing against those teams in our league, but compared to tonight, we're mediocre teams, and compared to that, we've our whole bodies have been drained working out how the hell we go over the line with these teams. Never mind tonight.
And we'll touch on that, Paul, because I think there were quite a few players tonight. Some whom I've been critical of, some who I've give quite a bit of backing to. And I think a lot of those players tonight showed that they may be good enough for the domestic game to compete, shall we say.
Yeah.
But they're certainly not good enough at this level. And very, very few, if anybody, comes out with pass marks tonight. I thought McGregor tried. He really tried. I thought Araujo was good as well. Apart from that, I'm really, really struggling to find any kind of positive vibes around any of that team. But we'll have a look, Paul. We'll pull up the lineup as usual. Lineup that Martin O'Neill went for this evening. He went for the standard back five, his tried and trusted, shall we say, or tried and untrusted, with regards to a few of those. Schmeichel in goal, back four of Araujo, Trusty Scales Tierney, midfield of McGregor and Negrin, which would have been expected. Bernardo just appears from nowhere, as he tends to do every 2 months or so, and does absolutely nothing and then disappears for another few months. I read in one of the papers today that he quite fancies a move home. I wouldn't be too concerned if he went tomorrow, to be honest. He's not adding any value whatsoever. He was dreadful. Taneke, one of the ones I've been championing. He looks to me at the minute like a bit of a flat track bully. He's more than happy running at his man constantly in the domestic game where he knows he's got the better of most of them. When he comes up against a defender who can actually defend tonight, he retreated. He was turning back in the first half. He was a wee bit brighter in the second half. But I think there's levels to the game, and you're probably seeing that with him. Maida offered very, very little on the other side. Svanchara, I thought he started bright. He is what he is. He's a centre forward with a very, very poor goal scoring record in the last few years. And guess what? He's a centre forward. It doesn't really look like scoring goals for us. However, he held the ball up well. He's big and strong. We heard about this searing pace. I've only seen it once. I've only seen that burst of pace once when he set up Yang's goal against Hearts. I haven't seen that. He gets a decent chance, a chance that a good informed striker puts away. But I just don't see him even getting to 5 by the end of the season. I still think he's better than what we had, but that's only because we didn't have anything at all.
It's like I said to you on the last time I was on, he's a target man. He needs someone up there with him.
It looks like that, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It looks like that. Now, I do quite like him. I do think he's adding some kind of value. And if we have to pick a team for the weekend, he's probably in it.
His hold up play is brilliant. But his hold up play is brilliant, and his passing's not the best, but it's better than what we've got, like you said.
Which is fine, but we need.
But I think he definitely needs a second striker up with him.
We need a centre forward that's going to score 1 in every 2 at worst. Substitute bench effectively for these games is just everybody else that's registered.
I thought the bench was actually really strong looking tonight.
That's the full squad essentially. Mm-hmm. Everybody who's registered was on the bench. There's 12 or 13 on there, and then obviously Engels is injured. We'll touch on the protest, Paul. Anyone with any kind of social media, and I in social media at all, knew there was going to be tennis balls this evening. It was just a question of when it happened. Happened 10 seconds in. TNT, obviously, they got the memo as well, and they have clearly made a decision. They were not going to show what was going on. You said
it's actually UEFA that.
Oh,
that on the European games, it's UEFA that it's TNT that's got the license for the games, but it's UEFA that provides the pictures.
Oh, is it?
So UEFA have got a rule on, as everybody knows, on protests, on political. If anything like that happens, they've been told to move the cameras away. They've been told to move the cameras away and everything like that.
That explains that one then. It is what it is. My own thoughts on it are, we did the tennis ball protest at the start of this campaign against the board. We've now gone to a boycott. I don't necessarily see the value of going back to the tennis balls again, but it is what it is. I'm not going to tell anyone how to protest. It didn't really have any impact on the game. The game hadn't started in earnest. There was only a few seconds gone.
You want to make a protest. You're wanting to make an impact. Instead of putting tennis balls onto the pitch and actually not helping the team, why not even just the whole stadium hold up red cards? It gets the same impact. And plus, they can't look away from the cameras because the whole stadium's doing it.
Yeah, I think, and again, that it would be similar with what you've just described there. I think the intention is to try and embarrass those in positions of power at the club, but they're beyond embarrassment. They've embarrassed themselves. They've absolutely no shame. I don't think you can embarrass somebody who doesn't have any shame. And is there any value to throwing tennis balls onto a pitch when there's a very load of shade on the pitch? do you know what I mean? Anyway, let's get on with it. Let's get into the game. As I said, thought Svenchara started bright. He was running the channels. He was holding the ball up. Again, positive play, but you want him in the box sniffing out opportunities. I know you said it was a result that you expected, Paul, and if I'm honest with myself, it probably is as well, but I went into it with hope. I sat down, I said to me, "Oh lad, I have a good feeling. I think we're going to get a good result tonight. Look how big we are with the bookies. I think it's not, Martin O'Neill team at home in Europe. I was convincing myself that this was going to be one of those European games where the underdog performs quite well against a fancy team. That kind of stuff that just is not possible in football. You cannot compete with teams that are bigger than you or have more money than you or play in bigger leagues than you. That's not possible. That can't happen. If you swing and miss, the whole club comes to an end. Yeah, remember that one.
It's near that stage already.
There's a certain wee team over in Norway with a last 4-game Champions League record of a draw with Dortmund, a win over Manchester City, a win in Atletico Madrid, and a win over Inter Milan that tells you absolutely anything is possible in football if you've got the right setup from top to bottom of a football club. And I think it's so refreshing what that team have done. Do you know what? I'd love to see them go on. I'd love to see them go on and win it for football. And
but I just felt
if you get one of those, you can argue it's a one-off freak fluke performance. But those 4 results I've just said to you in a row, that is not luck. That is not luck at all. And
of course it's not.
Every single, I can only think that every single Bodo Glimt Champions League performance, can you imagine Ross Desmond sitting, watching those results coming through and just playing through his words at that AGM over and over and over again about how the landscape has changed and it is impossible to compete. Yeah. What a tube. Anyway, all of my hope was pretty much gone after 15 minutes. What a disaster of a goal. For me, it starts way back with Celtic have a corner. Svanchara, I think it is, with some of that good hold-up play, wins a corner. I think it was him. And the lesser spotted Paulo Bernardo doesn't even get the ball off the ground.
Mm-hmm.
Knocks it to the first man, and it's cleared. And we're hit on the break. And we finally work it back to Kasper Schmeichel, who then skies a clearance to absolutely nobody. And the ball then falls back into Stuttgart possession, and the guy hits a shot, and he just goes down like a sack of spuds. And
yeah, we've been told this about Schmeichel. We've been told this about his shoulder issues and how he can't get down on that side. Right. All teams have been told to shoot at that side.
So what we said before we come on, if any outfield player is injured, do you just keep playing him over and over and over again?
No,
you don't. Now, I have to go back to last week because you said last week was the time for change. I said if we had a life or death game the next day, I would still go with him because I'm not convinced about Sinisalo. I don't think the question anymore is Sinisalo a better option than Kasper Schmeichel? I think the question now is Sinisalo a less risky option than Kasper Schmeichel? And I think the answer to that is emphatically yes.
Totally agree. I've said that all along. I've still not been convinced by Schmeichel. I know you said about experience. Martin wants to put the more experienced keeper in. Well, I'm sure you've seen it now. It doesn't always go with experience. It's like you said, it goes with the person that's going to make less mistakes. And of the goalkeepers that we've got, Sinisalo makes the less mistakes. I know he's not had a lot of game time, but at the same time, when he's been in, he's not made as many mistakes as Schmeichel. At least he's got the added issue that he's not had game time. So at least you can let him away with a few things.
Sorry, something stuck in my throat. I couldn't stop coughing there. I think we're now in a place, Paul, where if Sinisalo doesn't make 2 howlers a game, he's a better option. Now, there's no handicap system in football, but it almost feels now as if we're starting every game a goal down because there's a howler from him every single game.
Yes.
And the vast majority of them are ending up in the back of the Celtic net. So that's the first one. Then we equalise within 6 minutes. And suppose if I'm going to say there's a handicap, we're starting every game a goal down. The flip side of that is we're almost guaranteed a Benjamin Negron goal every game as well.
Yes.
Really, really good finish. Really good finish.
He took it really well. Really well.
For the third time this season, we've been gifted a goal like Celtic concede in Europe quite regularly. Thinking back to Feyenoord away, we were gifted one, albeit the pressing was really good, and similar against Bologna. That one tonight is a total gift, but it's a cool, calm, collected finish from a player who is scoring a lot of goals.
Yeah, guaranteed. Nygren's ability is amazing. I actually want him in the team all the time. Just like we say with Schmeichel, he's puts Celtic a goal down. It's the opposite with Nygren. Every time Nygren's in the game, yeah, totally. Totally. But when Nygren's in the team, you're guaranteed a goal, definitely. And the technique that he's got, he's getting better with every game.
And I think, Paul, in quite a lot of games, he's done absolutely nothing. He wasn't the worst there tonight. He definitely wasn't the worst. So, bit of hope restored. Dashed within another 8 minutes. It's another calamity at the back. And if anybody thinks that Austin Trusty and Liam Scales are good enough to be Celtic defenders going forward, tonight just completely puts that to bed. I know they've had the odd really, really good performance. I know that. I get that. But tonight they looked like a centre-back that you've signed from Shamrock Rovers and a centre-back that you've signed from Sheffield United.
Like, could I flip that on another but then, what do you call them? You're saying about they two not...
My guest.
When we're talking about Schmeichel, if you have as bad a goalkeeper behind your centre-back pairing, he will make any world-class central-back pairing look bad. So you could say that it's him that's actually bringing all their confidence down, because he's putting more pressure on them as well.
Yeah, I do buy that. I do think all three of them are bomb scares. Trusty's got a wreck in him at any stage. I thought Scales was really, really exposed for his limitations tonight. I just got really bored of watching him. Scales back to Schmeichel, and the only times he didn't pass it back to Schmeichel, he was just lashing it forward pretty aimlessly. I'm one of his biggest fans, but he'll get away with it for the most of domestic games. An odd European game where it's backs to the wall and they're firing balls in, they may turn in an odd good performance. But every ball that went into our box tonight and every ball that goes into our box at the minute, I'm just expecting the net to bulge, to be honest. And it did.
Every time.
I mean, you can point to the deflection. The ball's deflected, but we've a box full of people there, and the guy's got the freedom of Celtic Park just to nod it into the net. Unbelievable. There's just absolutely no challenge on him whatsoever.
I just felt tonight though that every time a goal went in, every Celtic player's head went down. There's a mentality issue there as well, and I'm wondering where the Fozzie effect is going to, because for a wee while there, they were actually building on all the motivation tactics that Mark Fotheringham had in there. But it seems to be after we lose goals now, no matter whether it's in Europe or domestically, we fall apart. And that's what I don't agree with, because like tonight, when we were at 3-1, and it would have finished 3-1 tonight, everybody gave up. You know, it'd be better to lose 3-2 than 3-1 going into the second leg.
There was no urgency.
It just seemed to give up
totally. Urgency, Paul. They weren't playing like a team that wanted to get back into the game.
No.
And you can probably take that right back to the whole culture within the club. The club's run by people who don't think that we're good enough to play at at the level that we're playing a team like Stuttgart. The club have basically gone back again to the comment I made earlier. Ross Desmond has told us we can't compete with those teams, and if that's what you're hearing from the powers that be, that in any business, in any industry, the culture's set from the top, and that just makes its way down through. And if that's the attitude from those above, is it any wonder the players look as if they're half-assed and couldn't give a shit? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, totally, absolutely, totally. I totally agree with you. But
So
I just feel though that with all the attitude problems at Celtic just now, like you say, it always comes for the board. It's coming for the board all the way down. If we don't get in, it's going to be a total reboot in the summer. Reboot. It's not just going to be a few things. It's going to be a total reboot from the board, the team, all the way down, which I'm not looking forward to.
No, I can't even begin to imagine what that looks like, Paul. We got through to half time without conceding any more, but it wasn't long into the second half. 3-1 for me. This was the worst of all those howlers. This one, shot from outside the box. It's just unforgivable that you don't save that. I don't know what he's doing. I don't know what he's trying to do. Go back to the tennis balls. He's trying to bat it when it's rolling along the ground, and it's pretty much there from just to pick up.
Just straight through his hands. I know.
Yeah, it's just straight through him. It's just straight through him. You cannot have a goalkeeper that virtually every shot is now going through him. That was Barkas-like.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And there have been moments in these games this season where he's made howlers, and you can point to other moments where he's made really good saves. So there was one against Livingston in the last game there. That was a really good save. And you can pick out little ones, but that was a Barkas-like performance tonight. We're just, if it's between the sticks, it's in the net.
Yeah, totally. I just feel though that there must be something in Schmeichel's contract that says he plays a certain amount of games a season. Because it's the only thing I can think of. Because like you said, if you have a keeper who's either down on form or has an injury issue, he's out the team. He must have something in his contract that says, I have got to play a certain amount of games. Because it's the only thing I can think that's keeping him in that team.
I think we'll see this week, Paul. I think we'll see on Sunday. We'll park that for a couple of minutes. We'll finish off the key action in the game, if you like. It went 4-1 on the hour mark. At that point, I just thought, yeah, do you know what? At least that rules out any sort of prospect of taking next week's game seriously. Then, for once, VAR came in and did us a favour, I suppose, or the opposite. If you're of my way of thinking, so it goes back to 3-1. Schmeichel's starting to get booed by the Celtic support. That is not a good sign when your own fans who are loyal.
Yeah,
let's be straight about it. A lot of what's going on at the minute is just born out of absolute frustration and just complete apathy. But when you start to boo one of your own players, Martin O'Neill's got a massive decision to make this Sunday.
But it's like I said there with the contract issue, is it out of Martin O'Neill's hands?
I can't see that being the case, Paul. I don't know. I'm sure some players have stuff like that written in. I just can't see how he plays on Sunday. I really can't.
I totally agree with you. I totally agree with you. I think Martin O'Neill wants to drop him. Because Martin O'Neill would drop the most experienced players. He would drop them at a second if they're not playing well. I just feel that there's something there that's stopping O'Neill dropping Schmeichel.
Do you think it's anything to do with his personality? Is he such a big personality where Martin doesn't want to drop him, or doesn't have the stones to do it because he's such a big character? Or
there's a difference between having a good personality on the training pitch
I
and
didn't say good personality. I said big personality.
Yeah, but you know what I'm saying though.
Mm-hmm.
Especially even when he's on the park, every time he makes a mistake, he's the first one shouting at the rest of the players, and he's the actual one that's made the mistake. So I think there's just something there with Schmeichel as well, that that he thinks that he can do no wrong.
I think he'd be out on Sunday, Paul. I genuinely do. I think I don't think Martin O'Neill's afraid. I genuinely don't think he's afraid of making the big decisions. I don't see how he can pick him after that. After those two howlers, after getting booed by his own support, I don't see how he can play on Sunday. I don't see how he can play at all. They got the fourth one right at the end. Again, thankful for small mercies. I think that for me rules out any requirement for us to play any of the players next Thursday night that the manager may want to then use on the Sunday. I wouldn't even put them in the plane.
No,
I wouldn't put them in the plane. I would wrap them up and leave them at home. There's just no value to add next week by going out there and flogging the same set of guys that you're going to use on the Sunday.
So what you're saying is next Thursday night's game, you would send Schmeichel out for that then?
Yeah, I would put him out for that. Yeah, I would. I'll play him next week. No, I would play Doohan. I'd throw Doohan in for a game. What's wrong with that?
Why not?
Do you know what I mean? No. But next week's game, I mean, there's a couple of big decisions for Martin O'Neill to really to earn his crust this next 10 days. He has to make the call on the goalkeeper on Sunday, and he has to make a decision next week that he looks at the bigger picture, accepts that this tie is well and truly gone. Even if we did start to get into it again next week, that Stuttgart team, I don't think they're brilliant, really top level brilliant by any matter of means. But they're the best team we've played this season, definitely. And they could have scored as many as they wanted tonight. They could have gone 6, 7, 8. And if we even show any sign of any sort, say we went 1-0 up, 2-0 up, they'll just go through the gears. It's fanciful even thinking that would happen. I think you look at the bigger picture, you accept your fate, you're realistic, and you pick your team for Sunday, and you then pick your team for Thursday around that. Yeah. And those are the two big calls that the manager has to make in the next, the next 7 days, because it'll be next Thursday, and we know when that team sheet comes out on Thursday where what his approach to it's going to be. But this Sunday, as soon as that hits, an hour and 15 before the game, I do not expect to see Kasper Schmeichel's name on it. I really, really don't.
I really hope you're right. I genuinely hope you're right.
Thought there was a moment of comedy that just kind of summed everything up for tonight. Sriracha almost scores from 45 yards when he's trying to find Yang on the right wing.
Do you honestly think he meant that?
That just sums the whole
thing. That was a cross. I'm guaranteed.
I thought Yang looked bright when he comes on, but we keep saying, I'm just repeating myself over and over again. When Yang comes on as a sub in the dying embers of games, he looks bright. Other than that, Wilfred Nancy, 4 weeks of chaos. Yang hasn't really done it when he's been starting. Yeah. Bernardo, done. He can go back to Portugal. It's fine. He's probably really good at playing under 21s when he's 25 or whatever. That's all right. He's not good enough to play for Celtic in our.
Do you think Bernardo was only put into that? I know it's a terrible thing what I'm about to say, but do you think Bernardo was only put into that team tonight because of the interview he done with Portuguese media during the week?
I wouldn't have thought so. I think Martin O'Neill, for this first leg, he'll definitely have picked the team that he felt would give us the best chance of getting the result. I just don't understand how Bernardo fits into that when he hasn't been considered good enough to play against any of the teams that we've played recently. Do you know what I mean? These appearances for Paulo Bernardo, they come out of the blue.
Yeah.
He appears from nowhere into a starting lineup in a massive game, and it just makes absolutely no sense. And I know you said last week, and I don't necessarily agree with you. I think McCowan fits into the Yang bracket as well, where he looks bright when he comes on in the dying embers of games. I don't think he's good enough to be a starter for us either. But what I would say is, for me, based on what I've seen, he starts before Bernardo in any circumstance for the rest of this season.
I couldn't agree with you more.
But I don't think it comes to that, because I think if Oxlade-Chamberlain can start and stays fit, he has to play. He has to play
totally
from the start Sunday. Negrin has to play because of his goal threat. He's our only goal threat at the minute. And McGregor will play. And if those three are available, it has to be those three from now to the end of the season as much as possible. I don't see any alternative that's going to allow us to try and salvage some kind of success from this season.
Yeah, totally. I totally agree with you. But I just feel now that with the way things are going, even with the defence, would we not be better actually playing? I know there might be a lot of people that wouldn't agree with this, but would you not be better playing Tierney in the centre of defence with Sriracha on the left?
It's probably an option, Paul, but do we want to start experimenting at this point of the season where any more drop points could be game over?
Well, that's true too, but at the same time, you're saying about you don't want to experiment, but when we're not experimenting and we're playing a settled side, we're still making these terrible mistakes. So it doesn't matter whether you experiment now or not.
I know, but I see Sriracha starting on Sunday, but I see him coming in for Tierney, if I'm honest.
Yeah.
I think that could be a change. And again, based on what we've seen, and we all love Kieran Tierney, I don't think that weakens us in any way at left back. I think that's the beauty of having Sriracha.
Do you think the two centre halves is because we'll get two left-sided players?
No, I think they're just not good enough. They're just not good enough. Both of those players should be third and fourth choices in this squad. They're first choices because Cameron Carter-Vickers is injured and we didn't go out and get a proper good centre half that can play football. Like, did you see that big lad tonight that was that big warrior of centre back for them?
I did.
I'm not sure who he was, but what a game he had and what player he looked. Just a defender a big tough guy that can defend.
He's the Martin O'Neill type central defender. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. Trusty and Scales, it won't work. It just won't work for me as any kind of long-term option. I don't know where we're at with Carter-Vickers. Is he ruled out for the full season?
Ruled out for the season. Yeah.
I mean,
but why do we bring in two young centre halves and not play them? Give them a chance.
I don't.
There was Pussy. He came in. He's now had a brilliant move for him. So he can't do that move without being a good player. We didn't even give that guy a chance.
Who's this?
Pussy.
Yeah.
He's now got a permanent transfer.
Well,
a great result for him.
Yeah, in the Bundesliga, and he's starting and he's getting reasonable reviews. There has to be more than meets the eye there, Paul, though, because Rodgers, Nancy, and Martin O'Neill, none of them fancied him for whatever reason. And I always kept saying it cannot be purely football ability, because the pedigree, where he was coming from, he had to be better than what we had. And the one game that he did play, he looked fine. The one that I don't understand is, once we get rid of him, we bring in another kid who's not played hardly any amount of adult football, and he comes in and it just looks as if he's just a replacement for Simpson Pusey, and he's just going to come in and either sit on the bench or not be in the squad. And it really, really, it's a really, really strange one that we moved Stephen Welsh out to Motherwell. And don't get me wrong, last midweek I was absolutely delighted that we'd done that. But I'm struggling to see how Dane Murray or Ben Arthur are a better option than Stephen Welsh. And that's not me saying he's a good option, albeit he's doing really well in Motherwell.
But then
I don't see how
back
those
to
other
Naroki as well. Why could we not have brought him back out his loan? He must be better than what we've got.
Well, sure. Look at Lagerbelge. He's now playing really, really well. He's starting for Sweden and he's playing well in Portugal.
Yeah.
But anyway, listen, none of those guys are here. We're stuck with the two guys in the middle there, Trusty and Scales. I've no doubt it'll be them again on Sunday. We'll just have to pick ourselves up, Paul. We're nearly on the 40 minutes. Promised you I wouldn't do any more than 30. We'll just.
I think it's drowning our sorrows, mate. That's what it is.
We'll have to pick
We're just getting it all out, all the emotions out.
I know. And do you know what? I'll get up tomorrow, and the first thing I'll think about is I'm really looking forward to Sunday now. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's just the way I roll. I'll go to bed now, and when I wake up tomorrow, I'll write it off, and I'll start to think about Sunday, and I will be looking forward to it. And when Sunday comes, I'll be buzzing. And yeah, do you know what? I'll probably be sitting here like a tube on Sunday evening, talking about Kasper Schmeichel throwing in another one, and who knows? But we can only hope. Martin O'Neill has got a massive 7 to 10 days ahead of him. The next 10 days, Paul will pretty much
going to make or break the season.
Yeah. It'll make or break. We cannot afford a slip here at any stage. We can't afford one on Sunday. We can't afford one the Sunday after, and then you've got the cup game the Sunday after that. So it's 3 big, massive Sundays in a row here. And the first one's Hibs. I'll be back on Sunday evening, sometime around about 6 o'clock. And we'll cover that one off. Thank you very much to everyone who's joined. We're up around about 300 there. As Mark Kearney and Bhoys used to say, they probably still say it, misery loves company. So whenever we've had a poor performance, we tend to get higher numbers. I suppose what I would say, if there are any fans of any other clubs that are just joining in for laughs, is that we are the last Scottish team left standing in Europe, albeit only for another 7 days, thankfully. But Paul, thank you very much for joining me. Pleasure. As I said to everybody, thank you very much for joining us. Anyone that plays back on repeat, thank you for listening in as well. Hit the bell, give us a like, all that jazz, and we'll see you again soon. Okay? Thank you, everyone. Cheers.
Cheers.